Hey everybody, it's Queen Jelly here, and welcome back to the Toy Box. It's good to see me, isn't it? Of course, I'm just joking, but I am so excited. It's been a while since I've really been in the mood to film, and if you guys have been watching my community posts, I've been posting some polls to see what you guys would like to see now that I'm hopefully going to be back. And this morning, the amount of votes that I got on my poll was more than I've ever gotten before. I'm going to be putting a picture in here, but as you can see, by quite a bit of a margin, Twyla won. And so I'm super excited to get her open today. The other dolls are still going to be open soon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to repost them in a new poll, add a new doll at the bottom. It won't be a Skullector because I only have those 4 currently available right now, which we can talk a little bit more about in a moment. But again, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone who voted, everyone who commented. I even got comments from some channels that I watch, so that was really exciting. So super happy to be back, and I hope that you guys continue to vote. Today's video is going to be about Twyla. This is our Sweet Screams Twyla. She was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, but as we all know, Mattel does usually release a couple of them on their website as well. And so I was able to get my hands on her through Mattel Creations, and she's just been sitting here waiting. So it's time to get her open. Hey, I'm so excited. All right, so I went ahead and pulled her out of the shipping box. I don't know which way she's facing, because as you can see, she's wrapped in the paper, and I've never seen this doll out before, so we're gonna just figure out which way she's facing by taking the paper off. But yeah, I'm like I said, this is the Comic-Con doll. I got her through Mattel Creations. I also have the Caddy Fangvote doll, as well as the Corpse Bride doll, and then the Frankie Stein as Barbie collection doll that I still have yet to open. So all 3 of those will be continuing in the next vote as well. But oh my gosh, look at that. That lenticular design, that's so pretty. So I'm guessing this is the back of the box. It says, upon awakening, Twyla found herself still in the mansion, only in time a complete different dimension. She wore a candy wrapper dress, light as air, and cotton candy swirls in her hair. Syrup oozed over her wide, frightened gaze and dripped down her heels in a sticky glaze. In this dreamscape, Dustin too had changed. His fur dust, now scary fairy floss, fluffily arranged. And to make a bizarre matters even more grim, a spooky sweet fragrance now wafted from him. Okay, so if you don't know, this is part of the collection of dolls that they did for Comic-Con, where they kind of added to previously existing lines. This one called Sweet Screams, which I do not have any of the original dolls of, but it is one of those collections that I've always really been interested in. So I was very excited about this doll. And if you guys know, I am a huge Twyla stan, especially in G3, because she is autistic in G3. And I know G1 and G3 are separate canons, but because I don't know too much about the Generation 1 canon, I kind of go off of G3 as far as things like that. So I have a soft spot for Twyla because of that. I also am a huge cotton candy fanatic. So the fact that she had a cotton candy theme on top of that, super exciting. But we also have this little image of Dustin down here. We have some piranha plants looking in here. And then, of course, Twyla here in the shadow. On the side here is it's a whole credits list. That's really cool. So you have the lead toy designer, the packaging art director, packaging illustrator, packaging graphic designer, creative copywriter, lead packaging engineer, storybook art director, storybook illustrator, face designer, hair designer, sculptor, and textile designer. I'm not reading their names, not because I don't think it's important, but because I don't want to butcher them. So you can see them here on the screen. And then there is this little pocket up here. I know it's hard to see because this is as far back as I can get my camera from the doll. So there's only so much of the packaging you can see because I also don't have space behind it. But there's this little pocket here that has a book in it, which the Ghoulia also came with like a little like comic book, but I guess I didn't realize that but I didn't realize that Twyla had like a storybook as well. This is so cute. I'm gonna go ahead and flip through the pages. Oh my goodness. Oh, and then here they are awake with their pajamas on. Oh, that's so cute. Okay, we're gonna tuck that away for later. If you guys would like me to read that, just let me know and maybe I will post a short of me reading that. All right, the time has finally come to turn her to faces. Sorry for the glare. I know she's hard to see, but oh my goodness, she's so pretty. Oh, look at all those colors. And then there's Dustin. Oh my gosh, the way that they did the box with this like 3D, like multiple layers going into it. And down here it says Squeak Screams Twyla, and we have more of those like candy designs down here. And of course it says Skullector up here. Now that both of these lines are kind of combined, we used to have an alumni line that was the original characters, and then a Skullector line that was the characters like Beetlejuice and stuff like that. But they did combine those and just call them all Skullector now, just to denote that they are intended as adult collector dolls. And then here is the last side where we can see some more of the landscape. But I'm ready to get her out. She's been waiting long enough, so let's go ahead and get started on that. So before I get her the rest of the way out of the box, I wanted to show you her without the plastic on so that you can see a little bit more all those amazing details that they put it into the box. If I was in Inbox Collector, I would be drooling even more over this. It's so beautiful, like the way the lenticular designs are that make everything just have that very otherworldly feel to them. It's so amazing. I don't know if it's catching on the camera, but like, see if I move my ring light, you see that like rainbow that moves with it. Oh, amazing. Just absolutely stunning packaging design. But I am a out of box collector, so I'm going to go ahead and finish with that process. Okay, so I did have to take a break there, and I am going to share with you a little thing because I tell the truth here. These, I can't find these in any of the pictures. So if these were meant to stay on, I apologize. But these were tea-tied into the back of her head. So I was going to just take them off and like put them back on. But as you can see, I basically had to shred them in order to get them out of her hair. And I did absolutely everything I could not to shred the back of her hair. And now that they're out, I think it's getting a little bit better. I think it's just kind of box hair. But I really like how this puff is sitting. This puff just kind of is all over the place. So I'm not super fond of that. But, and again, like I said, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe those were supposed to stay in and I'm the one that messed up the doll. So if you know, please let me know in the comments down below. Not enough of a disappointment to make me not like this doll. But again, I like to be honest. So I do have to point out whenever there's something that comes across weird or a little iffy. So I just wanted to let y'all know about that. But other than that, look at her screaming. She's so beautiful. Look at this. All these colors. And I mean, I love the volume here. Just this tattoo on her leg, the black hand. Let's get into the details. But oh my gosh, I love her. First of all, here is Dustin. He is scented. He looks like a little cotton candy upside down. So normally they'd hand it to you like this. You could eat it. But obviously we have our little pet here with the flat little, or mostly flat bottom, enough that he can stand up. And he is pink and fluffy with that little face that we usually see for Dustin, that little kind of shocked face. But then he has a jelly bean for one of his eyes and his regular button for the other one. And then the little cotton candy cone on top as a little hat. So cute. For our stand, it is a traditional Monster High base, nothing too exciting there. But then the back part is actually clear as opposed to solid black. So that is exciting. I always like when we get differences in their stands. And then for our girl here, oh my goodness. So normally I start head to toe, but I feel like her head is the most, everything about her is super exciting. But we're going to start we're going to go bottom to top this time. So we're going to look at these shoes. Oh my goodness. The detail. These are insane. Hold on, let me get one off. I just wanted to bring it up a little bit closer so we could see all those details, because I know it's kind of hard to see with it being this like semi-opaque type of thing. But like the cotton candy here in the heel, so it's that same like cone like on top of Dustin's head, and then it kind of like whips up into the top here, and then you kind of had this like goo swirling up her ankle, and it's all resting on top of this bright green head. And this is just so amazing. Like, I know like we've had a million billion object heels. I still love them, especially like I think this is like a perfect execution of it, because it literally feeds itself into the heel. Like, it's such an intricate design. And like, again, I don't know how much you can see of it, but there's all this like sculpting detail all the way through the whole shoe. This is stunning. And like the height that it has, that's insane. Just absolutely beautiful. Like, I just want you to look at like the difference. Like, look how much height there is. Because this is obviously like her foot without the shoe. Like, all of this is just extra height for her. That's insane. Especially because Twyla, I believe, is on the little sister body typically. I haven't checked if this one is, but she probably is. But I would say with this height, she's at least the same height as a regular doll. All right, next up is her leg here. So we have this like printing or like tattoo design on her leg. We have a swirl pattern up here that unwraps itself down into this like gooey path, which I'm just realizing now that this shoe actually doesn't have the swirls that go up her leg like the other one does, so that you can see the tattoo, because obviously if it had this, it would be covering up a lot of this printing right here. So that's really cool that on both legs she has this kind of like swirly shape, but in order to make it a little bit more asymmetrical, this one is printed on and then this one is wrapped around using the shoe, and I think that's so cool. Now up here, look at all these layers. There's so many layers here. This is insane. Hold on, I want to find out. I think this, oh no. Okay, stunning. Look at that. Okay, so here is the upper skirt. So we have this layer up here that has all these little, they're buttons, because like that's a very like Twyla, you know, again, Dustin type of like motif to have the buttons. but if you look really closely, they're actually skelettes made into candy pieces. And they're all up in this front part here, so they kind of like rattle around. And then so we have that one layer, then we have another layer of crimped tulle that's kind of a little bit of a different shade of that same like purpley color. And then we have another 2 layers of regular tulle in a medium purple. And then we have another 2 layers in this like bluish purple down here. And this is all a separate skirt piece that sits on top of her black dress. That is so cool. We'll go ahead and put that to the side for now, just so we can see her dress. So it is about a thigh length black pleather dress, but look at these like goopy cuts here at the bottom. The way that she's just like so many different things at once, but like it works so well because she's like cotton candy and like clown and like dream, and she's just amazing. And I mean, Twyla being the boogie monster, or the daughter of the boogie monster, like it's such a great concept to have her in like the dream line. Amazing. She does have a black hand here on the opposite side. Again, continue that kind of asymmetry. She has this black hand with black tendrils kind of reaching up towards her elbow. And then on this side, it is just normal Twyla hand color. And then she has this purse, which has more of those skelet buttons in it, which I do believe actually opens. It does. So we can take a closer look at one of the skelet buttons. Those are so cute. I wonder if I could like actually work them into one of my designs. That would be really cool. I wonder if people have. If you have used those as buttons on something, please let me know. But then as you can see, her purse is that same design. It's that candy with the skelet on it. But here we have it in a semi-transparent like green. I would say like almost like a teal color. And then on top of her dress here, we have this little skelet that is sewn on as a little like button up here at the top. And then she has these tulle sleeves, which I don't know if you can tell, but there are in multiple different colors. So each of those different colors that we found here on the skirt is also here on her shoulders. She also has a necklace, which I kind of think the necklace and the button on the dress are a little bit much because as you can see, they're kind of covering each other up. But I do like the necklace on its own. It has that same kind of tealy green that the purse has. Sorry, it is currently rubber banded to her. That's why I can't really bring it much closer. But it has that tealy green material. And then the skullet in the middle is this pink color. And then for her earrings, she has asymmetrical earrings as well. So this side is a small like hard candy with an eyeball on it. And then this side is a sucker with a skelet in the middle and more of that pink, green, and black coloring on both of those. And then for her face, again, we have this kind of like clown makeup. I think is kind of similar to the design that they did for the Draculaura from the circus line. Let me look. Yeah, where it has this kind of like oversized stick that goes like all the way up. Again, similar type of like theming, so like I'm not upset about it. Also being another SDCC doll, that's kind of fun to have them kind of have a similar like a makeup style going on, to be honest. But other than that stick going up, you have like this splat design all around this eye, and then this eye does not have that splat design, but it does still have the up and down. It's hard to see because of her bangs. I don't want to mess them up too much. Yeah, so we still have that up and down design. And she does have a split dye here on her eyebrows. So she has black and green, as well as she has some pink makeup here. And then if you look at her eyes, they have this like purple and blue pattern inside of them that are so pretty. And the black lipstick, I love to see it. Black lipstick is my favorite on anything, but especially Monster High. So this is amazing. And then we have her purple bangs here, which are gelled down, which is great. We love to see that. We don't want them flying around. And then we have her hair, which is a mix of green and purple. It's meant to look cotton candy-esque, which is why it's puffy and big and all over the place. And then just like Dustin, she does have a cotton candy cone as her hat. Hers is a purple and black with this like kind of splat going on top of her head, as well as what kind of looks like a scoop of ice cream, but in the shape of a skull, splatted on the very point of the cone with these bunny ears on top. So that is her overall breakdown. Here's just a quick look at the back of her dress. So we can see there's kind of off the shoulder here in the back. And I'm going to go ahead and get her skirt back on, and then we'll talk about final thoughts. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and go into final thoughts on Twyla. I did also bring down the other two SDCC dolls that we have. Obviously, they're all from 3 very different lines, but they're all 3 from that same, like, kind of adding to lines that existed for a long time, and then them kind of giving like us, for lack of a better term, like a plus ultra version of a character that wasn't in that line. So they all definitely are very different, but I just like kind of seeing them all together. But as for Twyla, I do have 2 small gripes, which I've talked about both of them. One is the way that her hair was packaged. As you can see, it kind of got a little bit messed up here, and the hair ties, or the like tie, I can't think of what they're called, but like the little plastic bit is still in there, and it like messed up all of her hair. Thankfully, like all this curly bits like cover it, but that was still kind of weird. Like it almost felt like I wasn't supposed to take it out, but at the same time, with the T-tie being in there, at the same time it felt like I should be taking it out, because it didn't feel permanent. It wasn't like tied around her hair or anything. It was just like attached to her head, and it felt a little weird. And then my other thing is, I feel like this is a little bit too much. I think if this skelet was a little bit lower, or if this necklace was either higher or didn't have that skelet on it, it would be fine. But these are literally like sitting on top of each other, so I don't like that. But everything else about this doll is amazing. I'm so glad I finally got around to opening her. She has been, like I said, in the box for quite a bit. I could look up exactly for how long. Sorry, I realized that we hadn't like talked like price and availability, so I actually want to take a second and do that. So this was almost $100 after like taxes and shipping and everything like that. So she was definitely on the more expensive end, which I'm sure probably turned a lot of people off, but she is already sold out, which is very common with the SDCC dolls to sell out very quickly. Obviously, I did look up, and I ordered her in July of last year, and she arrived in December of last year, which was about 6 months, which for Mattel Creations is kind of hit or miss. Sometimes they ship dolls like next day, and other times it's 6 months to a year later. It just depends on the doll. Also, like the availability of the doll, because like a lot of the time the ones that ship out a year later, those are because those ones are made to order, like the Abby one that's going to be coming out. I'm actually surprised that it's supposed to ship at the end of this year, because I feel like that's a little bit of a shorter turnaround than we've seen before. Usually it's like a full 12 months as opposed to, or like, so like usually would ship out next January, since Fang Vote happened in January. So it's only an 11-month turnaround instead of a full 12-month turnaround, if that makes sense. So it's not by a lot, but I feel like it is technically a little bit shorter than usual. But I digress. So she was almost $100, is not currently available, and took about 6 months to ship to me. And then obviously we're now here 2 months later with me finally opening her. But super glad that I did. I like that he is scented. I think that's really cute. I like the printed on details on her leg and her hand that make the base doll seem super unique, on top of the amazing face printing, the super cute outfit. I don't know, this is kind of a lot here with like all this like jiggly. I kind of wish that there was a few less pieces in here, but I really like the idea of having this like extra layer here with these like bits in them, because I've always seen like this with like usually like pom-poms or something like that, and I just think it's a really cute design. I actually have a dress that has little pom-poms in it like this, so, and it is a clown dress, which, so I really like the overall aesthetic here. Again, I'm a huge cotton candy fan. I'm a huge Twyla fan, and I also am a huge fan of like this darker color scheme. So overall, this doll was a total win and a definite must-have as soon as I saw her. I know she's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but she definitely is mine, and I'm super happy to have her in my collection. So with that being said, before I ramble too much longer, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed as much as I did. I'm so happy to be back. I actually went to the store in the middle of this recording, and I had brought with a Frankie doll, which is the first time in a while that I've carried a doll with me, like just go out to the store. And I kid you not, I had at least 3 or 4 people comment on it and have full like conversations about Monster High, which I have not done in so long. And so it was really like, to me, felt like a good sign that now is a good time for me to come back, because I'm really feeling excited to talk about something that I love. And again, the future of this channel is always up in the air, but I'm hoping to be able to post a little bit more regularly. And the more support that you guys give me, the more regularly I will post, which is why I'm so happy to see that vote go the way that it did, that for opening Twyla. Again, stay tuned to my channel. Make sure you watch the community posts. I'll be posting more polls on what dolls will be opened next, as well as some maybe Lego content coming in the future, as well as along with other toys, since this is a doll and toy themed YouTube channel. Obviously the main focus is dolls, but I do have other interests outside of them. My interests usually revolve around toys, so hopefully you'll come along for the journey. Thank you again so much for watching, and we'll see you real soon in the next one. Bye!